From Oxenhausen to playing under the same coach, Hugo Calderano will be fighting here against the second seed and world #1 Zhendong. It's a best-of-7 match. Hugo to start. Love all.
Love all.
Behind the table, able to save the first one, covering the middle and get the big forehand attack. Calderano from behind the table takes the first point. Now Calderano has shattered all sorts of records for Latin America. First in the top 10, first in almost everything he's accomplished. Good pressure here on the receive from Zhendong over the table. His Chiquita is very strong, his backhand receive. Get ready for the bat pose, there it is. Good placement on the receive. Zhendong had started to turn the corner. Hugo's shot just left enough time for Zhendong to chase it down. Watch the change of placement here. Goes parallel. But Zhendong hadn't overcommitted, doesn't have to. One of the advantages of being incredibly fast and strong. A little bit off the top of the net, but Calderano ties up the game. Now in terms of experience and in terms of arsenal, the different weapons that Zhendong has up his sleeve, he's the more complete of the two players, the more threatening of the two players. Plural. Ooh, break. Okay, couldn't see for a minute. Came back on Zhendong's side of the table. Trying to stay loose here, stretch out. On the run, so much power that first ball. It's interesting, the first attack obviously more valuable than the others, as the rally won't continue if the first attack is good enough. Top and side spin, but mostly top from Zhendong, and the angle created here. Calderano's gonna have to keep that racket head up pretty high.
4-3.
I really feel like I'm watching two fighters here. Like it's a boxing match in the sense that Zhendong is so fast and so fit. Calderano looking for weaknesses and ways to get him off balance. Good side spin here, the ice cream cone flick coming across the ball. Changing up, that's not the first time we've seen Zhendong reaching between scratching the armpit and the back shoulder blade. Maybe he's a little bit tight and tense. Oh, there it is, a beauty. Half-long serve to the forehand side and the cracking parallel winner from Calderano. This one has no chance of coming back. No time, he hadn't even settled down yet. Feet were still coming down from the shot before and the ball was already past him. This is good for me though, watching Calderano. If I'm in the coaching corner, I'm shaking my head saying, yes, you're playing it right. You've got to be positive from the start of the point. As I often say, the underdog needs to play high risk, play confidently, and hope for a high percentage. Beautiful shot on the opening. Zhendong's there to keep it in play, and one more outstanding shot from Calderano. I mean, everything has to be nearly a 10 out of 10 right now in terms of impressiveness to beat Zhendong. Rarely do we see Zhendong out of sorts, out of form. Long serve, jams up Calderano right in the baseline, middle of the table, forces him to turn and gets him back off. That was Zhendong as the favorite. As far as I know, looking at the head-to-heads, Hugo Calderano has never beaten Zhendong, off memory as well. I think despite 3 or 4 encounters. Hugo Calderano really would need to take the first game to increase his chances.
7-6.
And the touch play as well, wow, changing it up. It's amazing how adaptable you have to be at this level. You can have a game plan to be aggressive, get into the point as early as possible, but as soon as you can't, this is typical of table tennis, if you can't attack it, at least keep the opponent from attacking it comfortably. Oh, what a shot, the angle just out of reach. Calderano from the baseline wrapping around, sets him up with a 2-point lead. Now, Hugo Calderano isn't just carrying the fans in Brazil, South America, Latin America, or even both of the Americas. The entire world is watching right now, wondering, can Hugo Calderano cause a threat, cause an upset against the world number 1? Edge of the table for Hugo Calderano.
6-9.
Very faint edge there. Looks up to make sure that Zhendong saw it as well, so it wasn't a beefy interaction. Keeping the relationship with the opponent. Flip kill, and Hugo Calderano with 4 game points in the first. Is that 4 in a row from 6-6? My memory might be wrong, but it's definitely been quite a streak here for Calderano. And he's got the serves on his side. Had big leads in Qatar, wasn't able to capitalize. Will he do it here? Oh, a break off the net, but the answer is yes. Hugo Calderano will, and he does. 11 points to 6. Takes the first game against world rank number 1, the second seed Zhendong. Let's see if this can continue. The thrill from Brazil in Xiaopeng. Game number 2 coming up right after this.
Uma coisa, quando você joga paralelo com sua esquerda, sempre ele vai jogar cruzado. Cuidado com seu backswing. Você não dá para ir muito por atrás com seu backswing.
Vai abrir mais, ele começou abrindo tudo no meio, foi difícil.
Sim, mas quando...
因为第一板多的话，给那个中间位置他一拉我再跑，后面这种衔接就多开一点，还是要用力一下，还是要用力，自己不用后悔。好，渐渐的上。
Second game, Zhendong to serve, love all.
Well, there you have it. Zhendong to start off game number 2, down 0-1. Hugo Calderano doing what he couldn't do in Qatar. Taking a game, he's taken 100% of the games so far. That pose. Oh, it is beautiful. Takes the wrist, plays it from off the body, right into Zhendong's middle, and finishes with a hooking forehand. This one sits up a little bit. Some side spin on it, but not enough to bother Zhendong in the rally. Very few players in recent years outside of the Chinese national team have beaten Zhendong. Tomokazu Harimoto, the only one that comes to mind this year. Oh, too wide. A little bit shallow on the lob. Calderano yesterday against Oshima had some trouble in the fishing game, far from the table. And as strong as he is from behind the table, which normally he is, still is going to have to find the balance here. Yeah, you can see how close to the net that ball bounced. It's too tough to predict and cover side to side against Zhendong after that shot.
Left, 1-2.
Calderano's going to do everything he can to either keep the ball short or get a first attack aggressively and follow up, and the rallies quickly. The longer the rally goes, the more it favors the stronger player. There it is, that flick right into the body. You have to imagine Hugo Calderano and Jean-René Mounier, his coach, spent a lot of time discussing the importance of a quality opening attack. Has to be a suffocating game, has to keep the pressure up, because Zhendong, when given a little bit of freedom, a little bit of slack on the leash,
2-4.
will run you around. I don't think there's really any leash in terms of pet-like relationship here in that metaphor.
Left,
Zhendong
2-4.
clearly the more dominant of the two players, but scoreboard right now, Calderano in a good position. Oh, second bounce on the table, the touch, the feeling. To play it softly from the middle of the table and get a second bounce on the opponent's side, difficult to keep it short from there. We saw this against Shuxin twice yesterday from Lin Gaoyuan.
2-3.
I think those were on serves. Perfect placement again, working against the spin to guide it back into that backhand corner. Not easy to do. Calderano up 4-2 at the first towel break. And we've seen Fan Zhendong come back. I think it was the World Tour Grand Finals where he was down 0-2 against Dima. Maybe 11-all, something like that, a high deuce, or a deuce point anyway, where Fan Zhendong cracked the ball into 2 pieces. And they had to replay the point. And he came back to win the match. What a backhand. Where was it going to go? I was looking to the deep backhand corner. Calderano's ball bending the opposite way. So deceptive with that wrist. His timing as good as can be. He didn't play this type of game against Yuya Oshima yesterday. Didn't seem like he could. Yuya Oshima spinning the ball low to the net early in the rally. Aggressive over the table. Exactly what Fan Zhendong does here. This is a big wide court for the ball to kick off the edge of the racket that far to clear the barriers. Gives you a sense of how much speed is on this shot from Fan Zhendong. Still up by 2 on the receive. Hugo Calderano. Goes for the rip on the wide one. Fan Zhendong moving it out wider and wider as the rally develops here. Well played from Calderano, but Fan Zhendong in control on top of the bounces. See how high he keeps the racket up in between points. Until he gets Hugo Calderano way behind the table and turns for the forehand. Fan Zhendong looks like a blocking machine. Still manages to generate a lot of speed. Very little backswing. Oh, that's a tough lane for Calderano. Great opening shot, and what a save from Fan Zhendong to keep it in play wide. So quickly recovered. Fan Zhendong ties it back up. To win an entire match in a best-of-7 against Fan Zhendong. To keep up some incredible play for quite some time.
5-6.
A little bit softer, spinny one. Now, in terms of Fan Zhendong's game over the years, talking about this on the bus with some of the players and fans last night, right now he's the most unbeaten player in the world in terms of the World Tour. That being said, Ma Long has an incredible record against Fan Zhendong on the World Tour. Has only lost once out of maybe 14 head-to-head battles, give or take.
Red. 5-6.
And part of that is that Ma Long is so complete. His change of pace, his ability to play soft, slow it down, identify when a player's not good in the slower game.
7-5.
Beautiful shot there in terms of the camera shot. Hugo Calderano's high-toss serve is rarely kept in frame. So bravo to the production team there. In terms of the rally, clever idea missing by just a fraction of an inch. Or a centimeter, as most of the world would understand. So things have turned around now. 4 points in a row for Fan Zhendong.
7-6.
And as much power as Fan Zhendong has, sometimes changing it up, slowing it down. Hugo Calderano has been in quite a rhythm lately. I think Fan Zhendong, if he's able to turn down the speed, turn up the spin just a little bit, it might be tough for Hugo Calderano, depending on where he is relative to the table.
6-8.
It's tough to tell how high that ball was, but we've seen Hugo Calderano in game 1 and the first parts of game 2, very strong over the table with the flicks. There's the touch, a little side spin left on it. Definitely something Calderano's been capable of so far. We know he is. There we go. The first lob was a bit shallow again, but he gets the next one deep on the table, which sets him up with a more comfortable counterattack. That's the trick in the lobbing fishing game, keeping it at the baseline of the table. Give yourself a more predictable ball. That one's right to the corner. He comes in with the big counter loop. Fan Zhendong missing in the counter rally. little bit surprising. Zhendong can rally those rallies all day long. Beautiful backhand with the bend once again. Talked about how Calderano needs to take the first game to really have a good solid fighting chance in this match. For every game for the rest of the match, the same will be true. 2-0 lead. Just increase the chances. Keep Zhendong a little bit nervous, struggling maybe, a little bit tense, which we already saw he was from the start of this match, despite having an undefeated record. Another idea for the long push. Just long. It's funny, you watch this, you think to yourself, we know Zhendong can come back, even down 0-2, even down 0-3. So you wait and you see. Will Calderano continue to crawl towards the finish line, build himself some credit in this match? Ooh, a little bit softer on the backhand flick. Not trying to overpower, to outspeed Zhendong. Now, this is one mistake that I've seen a lot of people make against the top Chinese players, is to outspeed them in the rally. And I mean, maybe mistake is the wrong word for that, but something that hasn't worked out a lot because Chinese Super League speed is unrivaled. Zhendong knows speed and he knows it well. Hugo Calderano with some variety of side spins on his backhands, now has the serves on his side. It's tied up at 9 apiece. Soft flick does not come over, finds the net. And now it's game point for Zhendong. He's got the crowd behind him here. Second serve for Calderano, now against game point. The rip of the backhand, the parallel sends Zhendong on the run, and Calderano saves game point, sends this to deuce. The pressure continues to thicken. A little bit behind the table there on the service toss. As soon as Zhendong had that big opening forehand, looked like trouble. Calderano very focused on the parallel counter. Such quick decisions being made. Zhendong with a nice sort of bend it like Beckham kick to the ball kid.
10-all.
Even spin on his right foot. Did you see that? Backhand does it, sets him up with game point. Saves one, earns one, and has the serve on his side. Oh, it sounded like we got an Hugo fan in the crowd. Wow, good mix here. We are in Asia after all. Zhendong's continent. Backhand does it again. The side swiping shot from over the table. Calderano, a scary 9-10 score on his second serve, gets 3 in a row and escapes the game victoriously. A thrilling match from the thrill from Brazil. Hugo Calderano up 2-0, and we'll be back for world number 1 versus Hugo Calderano. Game 3 right after this.
De entrar como esquerda de linha recepção. Foi muito. Sim, mesmo se você perdeu o primeiro ponto 9-9, foi muito interessante de fazer a primeira sequência, foi muito bom.
跟你的前你前面拿老球，你要不老想感觉球不平台或半平台一样，对吧？那我现在不等半平台，好吧，不等半平台，不行的话，把你短了，你就是挺短的，要不然快多长，后面他拉我防一下，要不然一拉完之后，人家一抽你，我后面衔接，现在你整个。
관중 여러분께 다시 한번 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 선수들 경기 중 카메라 촬영 시 후레쉬 사용을 금지해 주시기 바랍니다. 경기에 지장이 있사오니 후레쉬 사용을 반드시 금지해 주시기 바랍니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, there will be no flash photography during the match. matches. No flash photography, thank you.
大家好，拍照时仅仅是使用闪光灯、光灯、奖金、亮剑、王作者，谢谢。
Back for game number 3, Hugo Calderano, the thrill from Brazil. Leading 2-0. A little conversation right now with the umpire. Could have been about service toss.
Okay. Hugo to serve.
Bravo to the umpire. Umpires will try to do that in general. Talk to the players in a very kind way to let them know if there's something that's throwing up any flags. Try not to interrupt the game, yet keep it fair at the same time. Strong start for Hugo Calderano. As I just explained to some people on break, and as Wang Hao applauds the first point, if you're newer to table tennis, Zhendong is the heavy favorite here, yet Hugo Calderano is leading 2-0.
Left, 1 low.
I think back to Qatar, the real breakout performance for Hugo Calderano, beating Timo Boll, beating Tomokazu Hashimoto and Lin Gaoyuan. Crawls across the top of the net and still almost comes down. This point got very awkward very quickly with some side spin early in the rally. Slow spinny shot, that was the one. Fished back up. There's the inside-out spin by Zhendong. Still almost comes back into play. Good focus from Calderano to stay on the attack.
Left, 1 all.
Clever idea. Just missing wide. As soon as it comes off the table, Calderano looking to keep the pressure on with heavy spin low to the net here. Just amazing how close that is.
Left, 2-1.
Oh, no chance to save. Calderano was trying to get there. Top of the net. These actually create some of the most amazing points with Lin Gaoyuan and Xu Xin yesterday. It was a net ball that created what would have been a top 10 point, I think. And Xu Xin made his flat smash back from the umpire's booth.
Left, 1-3.
Tight serve to the short forehand. You've got Zhendong scratching his head like that. You know you've done something right. That's not a celebration scratch. It is a pondering of what to do. Hugo Calderano early in the game just down by 1. Chance to tie it up here on the second serve. For me, that's the right idea. Plays it soft with some side spin to get a slower spinny ball from Zhendong and counter. Just misses the counter down the line. Definitely not an easy shot, this backhand that Hugo's about to take. But I think it's the right shot. I mean, he's been so clear on his tactics. He would have surprised Zhendong. It would have been tough to reach. Even if he misses it from time to time, he has to go for it.
5-2.
So Zhendong up 3. Bit of an opening here score-wise for Zhendong. Still a ways to go. Tight shot. Calderano keeps it low behind the net. Low enough anyway. So a closing window of opportunity as Zhendong tries to play that ball just over the table. Ooh.
3-6.
Not the first time we've seen someone lose footing out here. Fortunately for Hugo Calderano, 1, no injury, 2, he got the points. Balloon serve just amazing how high that tosses. Again, the camera couldn't capture it even from nearly the ceiling. Again, the side spin there. Zhendong getting better and better at handling it. Still less familiar than other shots, so Hugo Calderano is going to try it when he can.
Left.
Or at least when he can't attack aggressively nor keep the ball short. 7-3 serves with Zhendong. Sky lob. Rackets twiddled. Backhand counter. Oh, and he misses the short side. Zhendong takes the points. Spectacular points. Calderano's been able to fish to Zhendong and lob to Zhendong better than he did against Yuya Oshima. This one gets way high. 1.5 inside. It still makes the next ball. Serious aggression on the counter from the backhand. Well now. Big swing there, step around. I'm looking down at the scoreboard. It's 4 points for Hugo Calderano on screen here. Sure enough, the shot was good. Happened so quickly. Sometimes from the camera angle with the players back to us, it's tough to see. A little bit tough to hear as well. That being said, tough to return. Fighting so hard, keeping it in play from deep in the backcourt. Counters on the backhand side. Very few can do this with any consistency. But on the run to the wide forehand. Here's the save. He had a counter at the end, just needs a little bit more lift. We've got the red, the softer side out. A lot of people ask, why do the Chinese players twiddle the racket against lobs? They need less spin on the high balls. They need more spring. And that's what the red side of the racket tends to have on the Chinese setup.
10-4.
So after a fairly dominant game number 1 for Hugo Calderano, a very tight game number 2. Right now, Zhendong way out in front with 6 game points to get his first game on the scoreboard. The big backhand from Calderano comes right back, and from behind the table, Calderano not able to fend off the point. It's 11-4. Zhendong and the conversations have already begun. We'll be right back for game number 4 to see what happens with world number 1 Zhendong and the thrill from Brazil, Hugo Calderano, game 4 right after this. Back for game number 4, Hugo Calderano clearing the table to make sure he has an even bounce everywhere he can. Last game, Zhendong quite dominant. What changed? Well, the pressure on the backhands. Hugo Calderano's percentages had a few shots missed down the line.
Left. Lock ball.
No question, Zhendong got Hugo Calderano behind the table quite a bit in the last game. Serve and receive. Zhendong patiently waiting for his opportunity to make the opening spin shot. The way Hugo Calderano started this match, whenever the backhand came up, he was able to find an aggressive shot. Now it's played a little bit more onto the elbow, like the second ball here. Watch this, middle of the table. Tends to be a good opportunity to bend it out wide to the forehand, but Zhendong's waiting there, which is probably why Hugo Calderano went where he did. Ooh.
1-2.
Save and then played off the ground. It's a bit of a break here for Hugo Calderano. But the touch, again, keeps it right near the back of the table. Oh, poor Zhendong. Dismay face. Oh, second bounce on the table for the second time this match. Hey, ready for a flip kill? Nope, I'm gonna drop it short. What deception from Calderano over the table. That takes so much confidence to be able to do that under pressure, especially against a player like Zhendong. Calderano getting the grip on the shoes, making sure no slippage out here.
Leg 2-all.
In some senses, that drop shot almost like the best way to go to avoid the attack. Short side of the table, Calderano right on the line. These are the types of risks he has to take. Gonna have to live on the edge a little bit. No fear of falling. Gonna have to crack a few eggs if he wants to make an omelet here. Meaning occasionally he can miss, but he's gotta take the chances. Oh, beautiful one right down the line again. Steps around for the backhand over the forehand side, and Calderano up 4-2. There have been a lot of interesting stories so far in this tournament. For example, Unified Korea in mixed doubles playing the final later today. But if Hugo Calderano beats Zhendong, this conversation will be going on for a long time. What will that do for Latin America and the rest of the world? Once again, right down the line. Tough to tell if it caught any edge from here. Pretty sure if it had, we would have seen Hugo apologizing. Let's check it out here. Nope. Just a little bit of side spin, I think. Little kick on the ball. These parallel shots from Calderano on both sides of the table have been coming from his backhand, for the most part. The backhand from way behind the table, shocking Zhendong. When have you ever seen Zhendong put into that position physically? He was leaping like a dolphin. He had his body bent in the middle to cover, and it was off the backhand from good, well, I'd say a good 15 feet behind the table. Calderano, thrilling shot, stinging power. This is why we call him the thrill from Brazil. 6-2. Calderano just missing the line. In that rally, if that ball comes down, it's going to be serious trouble. Now, Wong Hao, I mentioned, has been working with Zhendong. Seen him in the corner for Xu Xin as well, but Xu Xin, who was knocked out yesterday, has only recently started working with Chen Qi, December 11th. Chen Qi, legendary player from China, became Xu Xin's coach.
7-3.
A little bit softer spinning shot over the table. I was actually quite surprised to see Chen Qi on the bus because we never overlapped in terms of work. I'd never met him before, seen pictures from his wedding, friends who were there. So maybe Xu Xin adjusting a bit, which would explain why we saw him trying to play such an aggressive game. But back to Hugo Calderano in the lead by 4 with the serves on his side. A little bit off the net, but the placement is right from Calderano. Fortune-wise, tough to say. Maybe Calderano in front by a little bit. It's been a fairly balanced match so far, as far as memory serves. Calderano trying to play the middle there. Zhendong anticipating well, moving back to cover the backhand side. Soft touch in near the table. A 6-point lead for Hugo Calderano. You have to have a nervous yet guarded sense of optimism right now if you're watching this and rooting for Hugo Calderano. For me, it's always interesting to see an upset. And if Hugo Calderano wins this, it would be the greatest upset of the tournament. Taking that title probably from Chung Yi-ching to knock out Mima Ito. Oh, what a dismissive forehand flip kill. Long way to go still. This is similar to the leads that Hugo Calderano had in games 1 and 2 in Qatar. Maybe not quite such a big lead. Still an encouraging score for Hugo Calderano. Does not come over the net. Needed a break there, pushing from the back of the table, trying to keep it short. Zhendong within 4 points, making his way back in. In Qatar, he was able to recover both of those first 2 games and dominate 3 and 4. This is a big one. And that's what does it, the big backhand. Calderano goes for broke, takes the risk. He can't afford to play soft with Zhendong unless it's very specifically timed. As soon as the rally opens, Calderano closes it and has 5 game points to get a 3-1 lead. Touch shot from Calderano, side spin and underspin, leaves it behind the net, and Hugo Calderano is up 3 games to 1 against world number 1, the most unbeaten player on the planet. Will the thrill from Brazil, world number 6, continue? He's got 1 more game to go. Stay right here. Game 5 coming up right after this.
发球里要打简单，他打有点打简单，短球里他不会调，要不然我这球回摆，要不然我直接快搓，搓完长之后后面正扛一下过一下，对吧？有的时候现在是什么，一会儿变一下这个，一会儿变一下这个，他反正也是前3板不太失误，弄过来以后后面给你打枪吃，对吧？打枪吃我人这种不行，我往后退半步，我也把这根子弹给他出来，他想给你退半步，把你的速度出来以后，后面他给你。
So right now, we are in the midst of what could be earth-shattering news in the table tennis world right now. Calderano
5th game,
up 3 games to 1 in Doha, Qatar. He took everyone's breath away, but had 1 player he couldn't get through, couldn't get a game off of. He's taken 3 off of him now and held him to only 1 so far. Calderano with the serves on his side, up 3-1 against Zhendong. Tactically, this is right for me for Calderano. Zhendong still with the pressure over the table, manages to take the point. I don't know if I've seen that serve this entire tournament from Calderano. Didn't seem to bother Zhendong. Scooped under, guided pass. Let's see if we get to see it. No, okay, a little bit later in the rally. Nonetheless, Zhendong not confused about the rotation on the ball or the placement. Beautiful shot from down low. We've seen him attempt it many times throughout this match. Calderano getting low and wide, playing it from outside the body on the backhand. Very difficult to get like real power here and keep your balance at the same time. You see all these videos on Hugo's Instagram of his training for agility. Behind the back attempted. Does not come down. Rarely does the behind the back shot come into play. Not doing it to be showy, just fooled on the placement. Realized didn't have enough time. Hugo Calderano 2-3. Score on screen. Oh, that was quick. Amazing. Read my mind. Oh. Perfect shot into the middle. Another swat from Zhendong. We saw the dolphin jump before. This was the bees move. The frantic trying to get the body out of the way. Chiquita there, side and topspin. So difficult, as agile as Zhendong is. This ball was just too fast and too well placed. First towel break tied up. Think about the pressure right now on Zhendong. Hugo Calderano, the only non-Asian player left in the tournament. He was only one of 3 from the start in the men's singles event. Timo Boll and Patrick Franziska both knocked out. But there is no greater foul than losing to a foreigner when you represent the Chinese national team. Timo Boll has brought punishment to many Chinese players. I wouldn't call it excusable, but a little bit more understandable to lose to Timo Boll for the Chinese national team players. After all, it's happened so many times. But in the last few decades, very few have done it with any consistency. Mima Ito, probably the only one that comes to mind. Wrong side of the table. Little break off the net early on. Calderano sends Zhendong back. Zhendong can lob outstandingly well. He just knows that it's going to be less effective in general. Nice save here, as wide as can be, almost lets go of the racket. You can see it slide out of the hand a little bit, extending in the fingertips. Oh, brilliant pattern. This was like Sehyo Wan's dart pushes. As fast as can be. This was a side spin, underspin attack, basically, from Hugo Calderano in the push game, and he follows up with a parallel. What a pattern. Ties up the game. Who would have thought from the start of this match that you would see this score on screen right now? Every single point is so intense. Right into the body again. These reactions we're getting. Screenshot that. If we get a slow-mo of this from another angle, I want the screenshot. Timeout on Zhendong's side. Wow. Let's look at this. There it is. Oh, man. TKO. I think that's just a KO. I'm not watching boxing as much as I used to, but that shot right into the chest just bends Zhendong out of the way. Whoever comes in with this much speed, that Zhendong doesn't only get a racket, or not only cannot get a racket on it, but can't get his body out of the way. This timeout comes possibly a bit late. Zhendong no longer in the lead. Down by 1. You can understand why he's so focused throughout the tournament. I mean, it takes incredible focus. Whenever I see him in the airports and the lounges, at the dinner table, when the tournament's going on, he's either dead focused and silent, and as soon as the tournament's over, he's just ready to sleep. It takes so much out of you. Most of these athletes can sleep for 10, 12 hours following the tournaments. Ai Fukuhara told me once she could sleep for 20 hours. In her Ask a Pro Anything, which you can find on the official ITTF YouTube channel. Chance to get to know the players and their personalities. You can see Zhendong singing or impersonating Bruce Lee.
5-6.
It's Hugo Calderano doing the Rubik's Cube and having some comedic moments in Czech Republic. Entertaining on and off the court. So back from the timeout, Zhendong says, this ball, no good. I think that came from the assistant umpire's hand, but I didn't see it. It looked like it just sort of flew out of the screen, like something from the ring. 5-6.
Late. 5-6.
Still first point out of the timeout for Zhendong after a long streak here from Hugo Calderano. Soft flip to the body, but well placed. The patient Zhendong waits in the middle of the table and covers, comes back with a strong backhand to keep the pressure on. Here's the soft flip now from Calderano. You wonder, I wonder while watching, and maybe you do too, if it were a little bit more on the forehand side of the body, would Zhendong have turned? Would it have caused the confusion? Hindsight is 20/20. 6-6. And the float serve gets a long push off the table. Calderano 1 point ahead. Watching newsworthy matches is always exciting. We hope for the best in points. But this is just crazy right now, and I know most of the world watching can't believe how well Hugo Calderano is playing. Oh, this one a little bit uncomfortable. Slowed down just slightly. Good positioning from Zhendong. Got a wide backhand, a little bit in on the body. So Calderano needs to bring that elbow out, as you see him try to do there to get that backswing on the backhand. Perfect placement from Zhendong to shut down the shot. Oh, the parallel punch. Calderano hanging on to the lead, getting it back, keeping his composure, staying cool. This is the job of the athlete. When they start to think about the finish line, that's when their opponent crosses it first. The last few steps of the tightrope is where most tightrope walkers fall to their death.
Break 7-8.
Very much present at the table. Hugo Calderano up. Oh, what a shot from Zhendong. The angle on this. I was impressed with Calderano's ball. Zhendong wasn't. Zhendong was ready for a counter that hooked off the side of the table. Get ready. A big backhand, a little bit, well, clearly on the forehand side of the table, rather, which opens up the opportunity. Zhendong capitalizing on that opening, the wide angle. Tied up once again, 8 points apiece. Perfect placement again. Zhendong jamming Calderano in the middle. Big point here. Calderano ties it up. His receive game has been good. Coach Meunier in the corner, trying to stay calm. Calm and confident first player. Jai-ho from the crowd. Some support for the world #1, Zhendong. The backhand off the bounce. Backhands all day long. We talked about Harimoto's backhand as possibly the best in the world. And the only other true contender for that title would be Zhendong. But the way Hugo Calderano's playing right now, there'll be a lot of conversation about that as well. Same with Liam Pitchford, for that matter. His backhand is incredible, but Calderano's has been on fire. And it is 9-all. Suspense that viewers at home could only hope for. Off the top of the net, but Zhendong with that big breaking shot out wide, just out of reach. Hugo Calderano. See one more time. There's the opening. Calderano going for the right place. Catches the short side of the table. It'd be tough for Zhendong. It is game point for Zhendong to keep the match alive. Second serve here. Short side of the table was there. Tough shot. Zhendong had turned blindly. And Hugo Calderano, under pressure, came quite close but was not able to put the ball back down on the table. So Zhendong 11-9 takes game #5. What an exciting match to watch. It's a 3-2 match. Hugo Calderano ahead. Game #6 coming up right after this.
对吧？包括发转不转也是，发转不转的话，人如果是要扳你的话，那我也是不行，快搓长快回，这两下速度要有，主要这两下速度。再一个，他反手拧那下，第一板，他在人在近台的第一板直接给正手，啊，直接给正手。如果他退下中台这块，你给他拉到中间，包括他搓到你正手小半高的时候，这会儿一定要拉到中间的位置。包括第一板，如果搓你反手长，这下拉到正手，拉到中间，拉到正手，对吧？如果说他拧你这块，第一板也要过正手，他主要是人在近台上拧你和搓你，这些一定要都过正手，要打一些这种要敢过一些这样。 最后打死了，人全是这种在一个点上咣咣干你2人了，就是，好吧，啊，没关系啊，挺好，挺好，挺好，就这样就。
So Hugo Calderano on the near side of the screen, opposite to the way it's labeled.
Zhendong to serve.
Has 3 games. He's 1 game away from the best win of his life. There we go. Thrill from Brazil, representing Brazil again instead of China. Game 6, Zhendong to start. Solid opening on the receive. Step around forehand attack. Calderano with the first point. On the floor. Wow. He hadn't even landed yet. He's coming down, and Calderano already knew the game plan. When you know the patterns well, you can anticipate. Flick into the middle. He starts to turn. Parallel, no chance. Not with a 10-foot pole. Oh, still almost gets a racket on it. A break off the edge there. Outstanding shot from Calderano and a nice recovery from Zhendong to keep it in play. Quick apology there. Right now, Zhendong's got a lot on his mind. Would have been interesting had that come down. I think Calderano would have been able to fish it up into play. Good length on the push. Zhendong rushing the backhand. Out of Hugo Calderano with that long push into the backhand side of the body. Little conversation from the coach down in the corner, Coach Jean-René Mounier. There's the backhand once again, spring and out cross court for the angle. So fast. Where is he going to go? Funny thing is, that wasn't even the most deceptive backhand we've seen from Calderano this match. He's had about 2 or 3 that watching it in slow motion, you can't tell. Break off the net again for Zhendong. They're tied up at 3 points apiece coming into the first towel break. I've been very, very curious to see Hugo Calderano take a title. He still has a long way to go. This is only a quarterfinal match, but if you can beat Zhendong, you can beat anybody.
Leg. 3-0.
Amazing how well practiced that serve has to be. Service toss. So high, hot air balloon style, comes right back down into the sweet spot for a short tight serve. Long push, but Zhendong gets the upper body out of the way and plays it to perfection, just out of reach. Zhendong starting to make some of the shots that we've seen from some of his best matches. Leaning back, still able to generate so much power. Right off the bounce and down the line, Calderano smothering the ball, punishing it. Both players bringing their A game out here. Again, such a high level. The display of skill right now and athleticism on the table. Can't ask for much more. Been some very excited matches throughout 2018. Very exciting matches, I should say. I'm losing my English all the time. Push game, we've seen several rallies won by Hugo Calderano, patiently taking the ball quick off the bounce. He's even been very deceptive in his pushes. You might recall that one dart-like side underspin push. felt like an attack from Calderano, who's in the lead by 1 now on the receive. Flick was solid, right into the body. Next shot got away from Calderano. Maybe it was a little bit of a flatter attempt. Let's see the follow-up shot to this flick. No, he goes for it. Not sure what happened. Maybe it slid off the rubber a little bit. Either way, Calderano has made a lot of those backhands very effectively. Set it up well. Outstanding point once again. Calderano with the big shot, and Zhendong doesn't blink. Not for a second. Quick move out to the forehand side to counter it.
Zhendong.
There's the one off the top of the net.
5-6.
Looks down at the racket. That one a little surprising for Calderano as well. Goodness, the touch, the feeling. I want to see that from another angle. It was tough to tell exactly what happened, but you could hear from the gasp of the crowd and from the body of Zhendong leaning way into the backhand corner. Oh, look at that. Snake? You have to guess it was. Scooping, swiping chop from under the table.
7-5.
The surprise in that quick movement from Zhendong as the ball bounced a different direction than he was expecting. A lot of bird's eye view this tournament. Zhendong up ahead by 2. Surprise, surprise, straight into your backhand side. Hugo Calderano playing the low percentage shot, and it pays off. The safer one would have been to go to the depth cross court, the longer side of the table. But that's where Zhendong was waiting with the jaws wide open, ready to clamp down with a counter forehand. 1 point between them. Calderano, a little bit of an opening, still strong pressure coming in. He knew what he wanted to do, Calderano, that down the line shot. It's worked so many times throughout this match. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Even if he misses that shot, he has to stay with that plan because it's working. You can't play it soft or safe. Can't get too cautious. There's the backhand over the table. Perfect length on the serve. Gets a popped up receive. Still not an easy one. Even when out of sorts, Zhendong makes it tough for Calderano. Hesitation on the receive. Calderano with that fast footwork. And people ask, why do you need such massive quads? Why do you need to be so physically fit for table tennis? Well, Hugo Calderano wasn't. I don't think he would have won that point. The ripping backhand ties it up. 8 points apiece, just like in last game. As tight as can be here in the 6th. He had 9-all last game. Would love to come into this 10-8. The backhand today that Calderano is bringing is the backhand from Qatar, the backhand that we know he has, and we hope shows up for every match. Zhendong might have other feelings about that. A little bit of nerve maybe as the ball drops on the serve. And under the table, trying for the ripping backhand. A bit of hesitation on both sides in the push game. Both players teasing the opponent, saying, I dare you to try opening. You're gonna have to change your mind late, and that's exactly what happens here. Zhendong makes the opening attack after the hesitation, the change of heart in the push game from Hugo Calderano's side. Big point here to get back to 9 even, just like in last game. Except this time it's Zhendong serving.
Left, 9-8.
So if Hugo Calderano takes this point, he'll have 2 serves at 9-9. Oh, that's got to be frustrating for Zhendong. What an escape from Calderano. Well, by Calderano here, leaves it up in near the net a little bit. Let's see where the footing is for Zhendong. Pops up, not an easy shot. I understand the frustration, 9-all, and just as described, boom. It is 2 serves for Hugo Calderano, a chance to convert both and win the match. Sounded like someone just chanted for Wu Yang. Seems unlikely. She's not in the country right now, as far as I know. Oh, the side spin from under the table! Calderano from way back. A miraculous shot to earn match point. His first match point. It's still not over yet. Look at this ball. Heavy side spin, so much kick, and it sneaks past Zhendong. Could it be tension in the muscles of Xiaopeng? Just blowing off that cool ball toss hand. Second serve. Match point for Hugo Calderano. The thrill from Brazil does it! Hugo Calderano takes down world #1, Latin America, the Americas, and the rest of the world. What a performance! World rank #6, Hugo Calderano has beaten the most unbeaten player on the planet, the most dominant player of 2018, the 2018 ITTF Male Star of the Year, the favorite to win this tournament, has been eliminated in the quarterfinals by the only non-Asian, the thrill from Brazil, Hugo Calderano, and finally, he can hug and celebrate this match. The tournament is not over, but the thrills will continue. What a performance. Wow. Facebook statuses, Twitter statuses, this is gonna be breaking the internets right now. Congratulations, Hugo Calderano. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. Chung Hao down on court from ITTF. Some words from the winner. Stay right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner of the quarterfinals, Hugo Calderano. I gotta say, that was an absolutely insane match. You just beat the world #1. More importantly, you are now in the semifinals. How are you feeling right now?
I'm really happy. Of course, it's very hard to play against Zhendong. I played him 4 times and I only won 1 set the previous time. So, so I'm really happy to beat him and to reach the semifinals.
Of course, you said you never beat Zhendong before. So would you say that today's performance is the best in your career so far?
Yeah, for sure. It's my best performance in my career, and I hope to achieve much more.
So we saw you celebrate on court just now. Can you repeat that celebration again for the camera? Right, so one last question for you. The weather is cold outside, but you seem to be sweating so much. Do you have enough shirt to change?
Yeah, that's a small issue for me. I sweat a lot, so I have to always change my t-shirts.
Okay, congratulations once more, Hugo. And we'll see you in the semifinals. Everyone, Hugo Calderano!